So growing up Asian in America started in 1995 as a way to sort of engage Asian American kids in talking about their identity and expressing themselves creatively. I guess the idea behind starting Growing Up Asian in America was the desire to get people thinking about and talking about and sort of understanding Asian American identity. Not just among Asian Americans, but sort of like having it as a form of cultural exchange and education for the greater public. Because, you know, as I said earlier, our exhibits are shown at about 50 libraries for like 9 months of the year. And all kinds of people walk by and look at it and learn from it. So I think that was the sort of guiding principle behind why it was founded. And it's been run now for 17 years. I think in the very beginning, you know, it wasn't as big as it is now. And the exhibits were, you know, I think on sort of like metal frames, and then it evolved to like wooden frames, and now we have like really professional looking exhibits. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure. You know, every year they have a different theme for the contest. Last year I know it was Lost and Found. And this year I think Bridges, because it was like something concrete, I think the kids really could like, you know, use that to grasp onto, and maybe that's why we got so many entries this year. Even though we're only like, I think 5 or 6% of the US population, we're a huge percentage of the California population. We're over a quarter of the Bay Area population. And so in terms of like getting things done and, you know, making progress, I think being in the Bay Area is like, it's like the best place to be, because just the sheer number of people here. I guess one of the issues that we face in working with, you know, Asian American organizations here is that the, you know, different ethnicities are pretty separate still, and I don't think that's a good or bad thing. I just think that, you know, I think naturally, just because you're labeled Asian, it doesn't mean like, you know, a Thai person is going to relate to a Filipino person completely. There's some overlap, but it's really hard to just label someone Asian American and know what that actually means. So I guess I wouldn't say like it's, you know, super important to get all the ethnicities to sort of like mesh together, because I think it's good to like, you know, hold on to like your own ethnic identity and remember what that means. But I guess getting together and figuring out where the overlap is, and where we do have shared interests, and how we can help each other, because it is easier to work as like a larger group than to work, you know, just advocating for like a small ethnic minority. So I think getting together more and like figuring out what common interests we do have and how we can work together to like achieve, you know, concrete goals would be a good direction to go in. Well, it's a book that I've had like right next to my bed for like over like the past month, and I haven't cracked it open, but it's like the next book I want to read, and it's called Super Sad True Love Story. Have you heard of it? I can't remember the author's name, but it's about this guy. I think he's a white guy who's like in love with this Korean girl, like a Korean American girl, and that's all I know about it, but he's like obsessed with her, and it sounds like the relationship doesn't necessarily go that well. It sounds really funny and interesting. It's set in New York. It's supposed to be really good. That's all I know about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I should probably pick that up because